Look around you. Everyone's waiting for someone to show up, waiting for the mentor, waiting for the big break, waiting for the perfect time. But here's the brutal truth: no one's coming. No one's going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life. You either build it or you stay stuck. And yeah, I get it. Life's unfair. Some people were born with more money, connections, looks, luck. But that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you decide to sit in your story or write a new one. Because the ones who win, they're not waiting for motivation. They're not crying over obstacles. They're obsessed with getting better. They understand something most people never do. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. And if your standard is comfort, excuses, and blame, then expect to stay exactly where you are. Here are 6 hard truths that changed everything for me. Number 1, say, no one cares, and that's good. No one cares, and that's good. It sounds cold, maybe even cruel, but it's freedom in disguise. Because the second you understand this, your life changes. The weight you've been carrying of trying to impress, trying to be liked, trying to fit someone else's mold starts to disappear. Think about it. When you skip the gym, when you binge, watch Netflix for 6 hours, when you say, start tomorrow for the 10th time, nobody's watching. Nobody's keeping score. You thought people were judging you. They're not. They're too busy worrying about their own problems, their own insecurities, their own failures. You miss a deadline at work. Maybe someone notices for a minute. Maybe they get annoyed, but then they move on. Life keeps moving. And that's exactly why this is good news, because it means you're not stuck trying to live up to someone else's expectations. You get to rewrite the script. You get to chase what actually matters to you. You don't have to post about your grind for validation. You don't need applause to grow. You don't need someone to say, I believe in you, before you start believing in yourself. Look at the guy running at 6 a.m. when everyone else is asleep. No one's clapping, no one's filming him. But he shows up anyway, because he's not doing it for them. He's doing it for who he's becoming. You want to change your body, your bank account, your mindset. Stop waiting for someone to notice. No one's coming to wake you up. No one's going to drag you to your goals. It's on you. And when you realize that, that's when the power shifts. You don't need a savior. You need a mirror. Look at yourself and ask, am I doing the work when no one's watching? Because that's the work that counts. Your parents might not understand. Your friends might not get it. Strangers won't care if you fail, and they won't care if you win. That's why you do it anyway. Not for them. For you. You're not Brahunken. You're not overlooked. You're just free. Free to rise. Free to fall. Free to create something real without waiting for permission. Once you stop needing people to care, you become unstoppable, because now you're driven by purpose, not praise. And that changes everything. Number 2, Zane, discipline is freedom. Discipline is freedom. That sounds backwards to most people. They think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Sleep in. Skip the workout, spend the money, avoid the hard stuff. They call that living free. But if you look closely, most people who live that way are miserable, anxious, broke, stuck, and they don't even know why. The truth is, freedom doesn't come from doing what you feel like. It comes from doing what you said you'd do. Every single time. That's where confidence is born. From keeping your own word. From showing up when the voice in your head says, don't. From getting up at 5 am not because it's trendy, but because you made a promise to yourself and you refuse to break it. Look around. The people with real freedom, the ones with the bodies, the businesses, the peace of mind, didn't get there by accident. They weren't lucky. They were disciplined. They said no when others said yes. They worked while others watched. They practiced while others partied. And over time, their discipline paid them in freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from fear, freedom from the life they didn't want. You don't need more motivation. You need more structure. Wake up even when it's cold. Go to the gym even when you're tired. Study the skill even when no one's paying you yet. Discipline is making decisions based on who you want to become, not what you feel like right now. And yeah, it's hard. It's supposed to be. You'll feel alone. You'll want to quit. But that's where the magic happens. That's where you separate yourself. When everyone else folds, you stay in the game. When it sucks, you go harder. That's what discipline looks like. Remember that time you made a plan and stuck to it for a week. Remember how proud you felt. Now imagine that, but every day. Now imagine the compound effect of that mindset over months, years. Suddenly you're unrecognizable, not because you changed overnight, but because you stayed consistent when no one else did. Discipline is boring, but it's the most powerful force on earth. It's what takes you from average to elite, from wishing to winning, from stuck to unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And you chose discipline every damn time you could have quit. Number 3, the market only pays you for value. The market only pays you for value, not potential, not effort, not dreams, not intentions, value. That one word separates the ones who win from the ones who wish. It doesn't matter what you think you deserve. The world doesn't pay you for showing up. It pays you for what you bring to the table. And if what you bring doesn't solve a problem, make life easier, save time, or help people grow, then don't expect a reward. You see it every day. Someone's working hard, grinding hours, staying busy, but they're broke, frustrated, invisible. Why? Because being busy isn't the same as being valuable. You don't get paid for effort, you get paid for impact. And the brutal truth is, most people are doing things no one actually needs. They're building things no one wants. They're mastering skills no one's willing to pay for. And then they wonder why they're stuck. Look at the guy who cuts hair. He charges $10. Another guy charges $200. What's the difference? It's not just the scissors. It's the experience, the brand, the way he makes you feel. The second you sit in his chair, your confidence goes up, your image levels up, your identity shifts. People don't pay for a haircut. They pay for transformation. They pay for value. Same thing with the trainer who gets results. Not just fancy workouts, real results. You look better, feel better. Your clothes fit different. Your energy shifts, that's value. Now apply that to yourself. What do you do that truly moves the needle for someone else? What can you do that solves a painful problem? The answer to that is the price tag you can put on yourself. Most people are trying to get rich without becoming valuable. They post, they talk, they dream, but they haven't taken time to become world class at anything. No one's paying for your dreams. They're paying for your execution. So the question is, are you practicing or just performing? Are you improving your craft or just uploading content? Think about this. You wouldn't pay a mechanic who can't fix your car. You wouldn't hire a coach who's never been fit. So why should anyone pay you, follow you, trust you, if you haven't built something they can benefit from? And here's the shift: when you stop chasing money and start chasing value, everything changes, because value attracts money, value creates demand, value earns respect, and value builds leverage. The more problems you solve, the more power you hold. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, an entrepreneur, a student, or an employee. You get paid in proportion to how hard your problems are to replace. And if someone else can do what you do faster, cheaper, or better, then you're in danger of becoming obsolete. But here's the good news. You can fix that. You can become so good they can't ignore you. You can study the best, outwork everyone, sharpen your edge, master a skill so deeply that people line up to pay you for it. Not because you begged, but because your results spoke louder than your words. The market is cold. It doesn't care about your story, but that's what makes it fair. Because if you build something real, something useful, something undeniable, then no one can stop you, not the economy, not your background, not the algorithm. Because the market always finds and funds the value creators. So the next time you feel underpaid, overlooked, or underestimated, don't get bitter. Get better. Ask yourself, how can I make someone's life easier, faster, stronger, better? Answer that, and you'll never need to chase money again. Because money chases value every single time. Number 4, emotions lie. Math doesn't. Emotions lie. Math doesn't. Emotions will scream at you in the moment and make you believe something that isn't real. They'll tell you you're tired when you're just bored. They'll whisper that it's too hard when you've barely even started. They'll convince you you're not good enough just because today didn't go your way. But numbers are silent, cold, honest. They don't care how you feel. They only show you the truth. You ever wake up and feel like you're not making progress? Like you're stuck going nowhere? And suddenly, the doubt kicks in. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should try something else. But if you tracked your numbers, your workouts, your calories, your sales calls, your revenue, your study hours, you'd realize something powerful. You are making progress. It's just moving in silence. It's just not loud enough to feel yet. But it's real. The reason most people quit isn't because they're lazy. It's because they're emotional. They let feelings override facts. They let a bad day define a whole season. They don't measure, they just guess. And guess what? Your brain will always guess wrong when it's tired, stressed, or scared. That's why you need the data. That's why you need the scoreboard, because numbers don't lie. They'll tell you exactly what needs fixing. Think about it. If you want to lose weight, but you never track your food, how would you even know why it's not working? You feel like you're eating healthy, but the numbers say you're eating too much or too little. If you're building a business and sales are low, you might feel like the offer sucks, but the numbers might say you're just not talking to enough people. And when you see that, it's not discouraging, it's empowering, because now you can fix it. That's why the winners obsess over numbers. They track every rep in the gym, every dollar earned, every click, every conversion, not because they're robots, but because they don't trust feelings to guide the strategy. They trust the data, and that's the separator. Feelings are temporary. Numbers are patterns, and when you understand patterns, you understand performance. Remember that one week you felt like you were off, like nothing was working. But then you look back at the numbers and realized you made more calls than ever. You lifted heavier than last month. That's the kind of truth you need to keep going. That's the stuff that reminds you I'm not failing, I'm building. It's just not loud enough to feel yet. And this is where most people tap out, because measuring is boring. Tracking is tedious. Checking the numbers is uncomfortable. It shows you where you're weak, where you're not consistent, where the gap is between who you say you want to be and what you're actually doing. But if you face it, if you let the math teach you, it becomes your weapon. It becomes your edge. You're not emotional. You're just not calibrated. You're not stuck. You're just guessing. And if you'd stop relying on how you feel and start looking at what you can prove, you'd move 10 times faster. You'd stop quitting too early. You'd stop doubting progress that's already happening. People will say they feel like nothing's working. Cool. Show me the numbers. How many days did you train this month? How many pages did you read? How many people did you pitch? How many reps? How many steps? How many hours? Because if you don't measure, you're just making excuses with emotion dressed up as logic. The truth is, math is your mirror. It reflects back exactly what you've done, not what you hope to do. And when you finally start trusting the numbers more than your mood, that's when you become dangerous. Not because life gets easier, but because you stopped guessing and started building with precision. Number 5 build skill, not hype. Build skill, not hype. This is the part most people run from, because skill takes time. It takes years of grinding in silence while no one watches, no one claps, and no one cares. Hype is easy. You can fake it. You can buy it. You can post the right photo, add the right caption, show off the highlight reel, and pretend you're winning. But skill is earned. And it doesn't care about how many followers you have or how motivational you sound. Look around right now. We're living in a world that rewards noise, loud voices, viral clips, fast impressions. And because of that, people chase the surface. They chase attention, not ability. But attention fades, skill compounds, hype gets likes, skill gets paid, hype gets claps. Skill builds legacy. You ever see someone go viral for a week and then disappear because they didn't build anything underneath it? No foundation, no depth, no real skill. It's like building a house on sand. It looks good from the outside until pressure hits. Then it crumbles. Now think about the chef who spent 10 years learning to cut, to taste, to plate like an artist. No camera, no spotlight, just sharpening the craft. And now the world lines up to eat, not because he shouted, but because he mastered. The same applies everywhere. The copywriter who makes one sentence worth $10,000 didn't learn that on day one. The athlete who makes it look easy trained in the dark for years. Skill is slow. It's invisible at first. But when it shows up, it dominates everything. And here's what they won't tell you. Most people won't make it, not because they're not talented, but because they get addicted to the illusion of progress. They want to look good doing it. They want results without repetition. They want praise before precision. And the second it gets hard, they fold. Because they weren't building skill, they were building hype. And hype doesn't survive reality. Look at your life right now. What are you actually great at? What can you do better than most? Where's your edge? If you can't answer that, you're in trouble. Because without a skill, you're replaceable. And if you're replaceable, you have no leverage. No matter how good you look online, someone with more skill will outwork you, out-earn you, and outlast you. You don't need a new outfit. You need new reps. You don't need a better bio. You need better skills. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to improve for real. because the world is flooded with people pretending, and there's zero competition at the top where the real builders live, the ones who chose mastery over likes, patience over praise, progress over popularity. Think about it. When your car breaks down, you don't care if the mechanic is cool. You want someone who can fix it. When your business is falling apart, you don't look for the most viral marketer. You want the one who delivers results. Hype won't save you. Skill will so choose to be the one who's dangerous in their domain, the one who doesn't need noise to be valuable. While others chase attention, you chase ability. While they post, you practice. While they wait to be noticed, you sharpen your edge so sharp it cuts through the noise on its own. The market doesn't care how loud you are, but it always makes room for someone who's excellent, someone who put in the hours, someone who took the boring road, the quiet road, the long road, and came out untouchable. Not because they talked about it, but because they became it. Number 6C, momentum is everything. Momentum is everything. It's the invisible force that separates the ones who win from the ones who wonder why they never got there. Momentum doesn't care about your intentions, your motivation, or your plans. It only cares that you started and that you kept going. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they stop. And when you stop, even for a little while, everything resets. Everything slows. Everything you built starts to fade. Think about it like this. Have you ever tried pushing a car from a dead stop? It takes everything you've got to get it moving that first inch. Your legs burn, your arms shake. You question why you're even doing this. But then something happens. It starts rolling slowly, then faster. Then suddenly it's moving, and now it's easier. The effort is still there, but the resistance drops. That's momentum. And life works the same way. You go to the gym for 1 week. Not much changes. 2 weeks, still slow, but keep showing up. And by week 4, your body starts to respond. Your clothes fit different. Your energy changes. Then someone notices, then another. And that tiny progress turns into fuel. Now you're not just showing up, you're hungry to go harder because the results are finally louder than the doubt. And it all started from a few consistent, average days in a row. But here's what happens to most people. They stop, one skip day turns into a week turns into a month, and the mountain they were halfway up, it resets, and climbing again feels twice as hard, not because they're weak, but because they lost momentum. They lost the rhythm, the motion, the compounding power of doing it anyway. Even when they didn't feel like it, momentum doesn't ask for perfection. It just wants consistency. It rewards discipline, not drama. It doesn't need you to crush every day. It just needs you to not quit. Stack the small wins. Show up when no one's watching. Send the email. Make the call. Rid the page. Move the needle. Because that motion, no matter how small, builds into something unstoppable. Look at the most successful people you know. They're not smarter than you. They just didn't stop. They started earlier. Or if they didn't, they started harder. They built their day around progress. They got addicted to moving forward. And that's the real addiction you want. Not dopamine from scrolling, but dopamine from stacking wins. From feeling the compounding pressure of discipline pay off. There's a reason most people never break through. It's not because they didn't have talent. It's because they kept starting over. They got 1 foot in, faced a little resistance, and quit before the compound effect could kick in. They were 3 feet from gold and gave up because they couldn't see it yet. But the ones who win, they're not guessing. They're not stopping to analyze their emotions every day. They've built momentum, and they let it carry them. And here's what's wild. Momentum works both ways. You stop showing up, and that laziness compounds too. One skipped task turns into procrastination. Missed workouts turn into guilt. A few bad meals turn into shame, and that shame slows you down even more. The same force that can launch you forward can also drag you down if you let it reverse. But once you understand that motion is the secret, you stop waiting for motivation. You stop needing someone to fire you up. You move anyway, because the real ones know it's not about being perfect. It's about staying in motion long enough for the results to catch up. And once they do, they hit like a wave. People call it luck. They don't see the months of momentum you built in silence. They only see the explosion when it finally breaks through. Conclusion, you made it this far, so hear this and hear it deep. This life you keep dreaming about, this version of you that's stronger, smarter, unshakable, relentless. It's not a fantasy, it's a blueprint. It's not out there waiting for you. It's inside you waiting to be built. And you don't build it by waiting. You build it brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. Not in the spotlight, not with applause, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching and you still choose to show up. The world is not short on dreamers. It's short on doors. Everyone wants the outcome. Few want the process. But that's where the gold is, in the process, in the pain, in the part that's not Instagrammable. The truth is, if it were easy, everyone would have it. But the reason your dream feels far is because it's supposed to break the old you to build the new you. And that new you isn't born through talking. It's born through doing, failing, learning, repeating, leveling up. So let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them walk away. While they scroll, you build. While they party, you work. While they complain, you adapt. Because you've got something most people don't. A fire they can't see, but you feel every time you wake up. And that fire, that's your edge. Protect it. Feed it. Let it burn through every excuse you've ever told yourself. You say you're tired. Fine. Be tired. But do it tired. You say you're scared. Good. Do it scared. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking the next step anyway. Greatness doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most consistent, the most disciplined, the most obsessed with becoming better than they were yesterday. Remember what they say, hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. You can suffer now and grow later, or avoid now and suffer forever. The price of discipline's pennies compared to the debt of regret. And one day it won't be your heart that's heavy with failure. It'll be your mind replaying the chances you didn't take because you wanted to stay comfortable, and comfort, it's the slowest killer. It whispers, you're fine right here, but right here is not where you're meant to stay. You didn't come this far to only come this far. If you were born to fit in, you wouldn't feel so restless when you settle. If you were meant for average, you wouldn't be craving more. Every time you close your eyes, you have one shot at this life. One. And the clock is ticking whether you move or not. You will never be younger than you are right now. Your dream will never wait longer than it already has, so stop looking for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the fear to leave. Stop hoping someone's going to give you permission. This is your permission. This is your moment. This is your war cry. Be the person who rises from nothing and becomes everything they said you couldn't. Be the one who proves that ordinary people can become extraordinary when they choose effort over ego. Remember what the greats said. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. And the only limit is the one you accept. So ask yourself right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Who do I want to be when this story is over? Who do I want to become when the dust settles? And if the answer is strong, if the answer is free, if the answer is unstoppable, then it's time to build that person with your own two hands. They won't save you, but you don't need saving, you need building. And the builder is already in yo.